Jane. She was born on April 2, 1952, in Wasaga Beach, Ontario, to an English mother and father. She never married and lived with her younger brother Jim. Her mother died of cancer 10 years ago, and she returned to her hometown after her long life in Toronto to take care of her father, who lives alone with Jim. With her gray-gold hair, she is cheerful, sweet, and caring in her personality. She has been suffering from her arthritis for several years and has difficulty walking for long periods of time. Sometimes she pulls out and shows her childhood photos and old black and white photos of her mother and father. At Wasaga Beach, where she returned after her retirement, she hopes to live the rest of her life remembering her family. Mickey. Born on June 8, 1966, Mickey was born to an Italian father and mother. He is a car assembly technician and lives in Etobicoke. He works 8 to 10 hours almost every day, but recently he had to take a month off work because of his shoulder and back pain. He married in his 20s, but divorced and still lives alone. He has a black Cadillac that he has been maniacally cleaned so it still looks like a new car. He doesn't like spicy food, pepper, ginger, etc. His life before Corona was to work hard and travel to warm Mexico for about a month. However, even now that Corona is over, he is regretful about not being able to go back to Mexico and Italy. He's reserved and quiet, but once you get to know him, he likes to chat and is very polite. He likes to have his daily routine go as planned and makes regular life a priority. Theo. Born in Ontario on October 3, 1965, Theo was born to a German father and a Canadian mother. He has curly blonde hair and blue eyes. He works on a construction site and is currently in a layoff. As a young man, he owned several businesses, such as a club and a massage shop, and made quite a fortune. However, after his mother died, he began to dabble in drugs and, devastated, he dropped everything and started rehab. He lives with Mickey and they have been friends since their 20s. He loves pretty women very much and always has beautiful women by his side, but he is not married. He is as innocent as a child, straightforward, and does not speak back. He sometimes even talks about naked stories without hesitation. However, because it is only a joke, it makes the listeners laugh and makes the atmosphere pleasant. He also likes to help people in need and treats people without pretense. He is selfless and hates complicating life and wants to live the rest of his life happily as it goes. Sarah. Born in Ukraine on October 11, 1979, she immigrated to Canada at the age of 20. She has black hair, fair skin, and tall height, and always attracts people's attention. She married Brian at a young age, and they have a daughter named Gabriel. She always wears high-end brand bags and clothing accessories that make her look even more beautiful. However, there are people who are jealous of her, so she is always smiling and kind to everyone, but sometimes it seems like she draws an invisible boundary. She doesn't get along with Mary, probably because Mary is jealous of her. Ironically, however, when they meet in this space, they become best friends. Mary? Born in Ontario on May 2, 1968, she is a blonde, blue-eyed woman. She was married and divorced once and has 3 children. She has been working on her ex-husband's funeral company for a long time. She has a boyfriend, but sometimes she dates other men. She raised her 3 siblings on her own despite her financial struggles after divorce from her wealthy ex-husband. She has infinite affection for her children, and her children love her. She briefly dated Mike, but the relationship soon ended due to her maniacal obsession. She is also jealous of Sarah, who has her rich husband, by projecting her own past into it. She currently has a boyfriend who is retired from living as a teacher, and she dreams of a later life with him. Brian. Born in India on November 2, 1949, he immigrated to Canada as a teenager. When he first arrived in Canada, he worked at random jobs to raise money for his success. After that, he made a lot of money by trading, and all the businesses he started were successful. He was married at a young age, but divorced and remarried after falling in love at first sight with a 30-year younger Christine who worked in a jewelry store. He is always relaxed, confident, and easygoing. He is consistent with a kind attitude towards everyone, but he cherishes personal stories and keeps the line between people. He is quiet but quite pleasant and maintains his composure. Daniel. Born in Korea on July 16, 1979, he has black hair and brown eyes. He immigrated to Canada in his 20s, worked as a restaurant manager, and has been a real estate brokerage for the past 6 years. He has a Korean wife and there are no children between the two. He likes to help people, and when something difficult happens to someone he knows, he helps out both physically and mentally. However, there are times when he is misunderstood by people because he likes to be rewarded or acknowledged. He is polite and kind, but sometimes changes personality after drinking. He is friendly and laughs a lot. He wants to live peacefully, but strangely, fights do not stop around him because of his slip of the tongue. However, there is no doubt that he is a pure and kind person. He is acquainted with the owner of the restaurant and is acquainted with the regulars. Hyeon. Born in Korea on June 13, 1986, she moved to Canada at the age of 25. She is currently in college and works at a restaurant 3 days a week. She is smart but vain and always dreams of her success. Sometimes she falls into depression because of the discrepancy between her imagination and her reality. She moved to Canada to marry her boyfriend, but she broke up with him after 2 years, after which she lived alone for nearly 10 years. She's hard to get along with at first because of her shy personality, but once you get to know her, she's a very interesting person. She gives her advice when her acquaintances are having a hard time, but she's not really that involved or sympathetic. She has strong likes and dislikes for her tastes, can be seen as selfish, is stubborn, and sometimes fights with her customers. She wants to be successful with her paintings and fantasizes away from reality, but is frustrated that her real life is not. Jack. Born on January 11, 1975 in Ontario, Canada to a Canadian mother and father. He married in his late 20s and has 3 children. He works in the marketing department of liquor company and always drinks only his company's beer when ordering from him. He is an old friend of Theo and likes to hang out with him. He has a pleasant and bright personality and aims for a normal family and a normal life. However, he is envious of Theo's life and dreams of escaping. He values safe face and how he looks to others, but in a conversation with Theo, he sometimes wants to feel liberated. He likes women and jokes, but he tries to be careful about his actions. After his retirement, he wants to live as normal as he does now, but enjoy the occasional deviation.